On a cloudless morning in Hawaii, the silence inside the dormant volcano Mauna Loa abruptly shattered as Chinese troops descended into its crater. They moved with studied precision, unloading equipment unlike anything the world had ever seen, compact modules glowing with strange, eerie light. It was unmistakable. This wasn't just a military deposit, this was a staging ground for Pearl Harbor 2.0. But as the final ships and troops landed, nobody in America knew it was happening. Why? Because the nation's astronomers, the very people tasked with scanning the skies for anything unusual, had been dismissed by order of Donald Trump in one of his most baffling decisions as president. The story starts months earlier. Trump's decision to fire America's astronomers wasn't driven by budget cuts or practicality. It stemmed from a bizarre press conference.
I already know what's out there. I've seen the constellations better than NASA's ever seen them. The rest, it's fake news.
Experts protested, warning that shutting down astronomy departments would blind the country to incoming threats, whether they arrived as celestial objects or advanced technology.
Get rid of the stargazers. They're all doom merchants anyway.
It was one of many distractions to an already chaotic year, and chaos was brewing. Trump's tariff war with China was taking center stage globally, with repercussions beyond comprehension. His administration had levied crippling tariffs on Chinese goods in retaliation for trade imbalances, and in turn, Beijing responded with its own retaliatory measures, choking American agriculture, increasing prices, and making global trade tremble. The world's supply chains fractured while stock markets reeled. Yet Trump seemed unfazed, urging Americans not to be panicans as the Dow Jones spiraled downward for 10 consecutive days.
This is just the art of the deal at work.
But behind closed doors, China was executing a plan far larger than anyone suspected. China's real strategy wasn't just economic, it was existential. Their leaders knew that if they were ever to retake Taiwan through military force, they'd first need to neutralize America's Pacific strength. That meant crippling Pearl Harbor. The tariff war was their perfect distraction. But their ultimate weapon wasn't the tariffs, nor even traditional military force. It was their mysterious fleet of UFOs. These UFOs, dubbed Project Taizong within China's classified circles, were unlike anything humanity had encountered. Leveraging years of secret research into experimental magnetic propulsion, cloaking technologies, and manipulated gravitational fields, China had created the most advanced aerial fleet on Earth, or quite possibly beyond Earth. Under perfect camouflage, these crafts hovered above the Pacific before unleashing devastation on American ships and planes stationed at Pearl Harbor. Missiles exploded in fiery arcs above the waves, leaving terrified sailors powerless against technology they couldn't begin to comprehend. The skies above Hawaii shimmered with unnatural light as scrambling fighter jets were obliterated mid-air. Patriot civilians watching on live broadcasts screamed, their voices drowned out by endless bursts of incendiary terror. As news of the attack reached the mainland, the world seemed to crack at its seams. Americans, reeling from the tariff-induced economic nosedive, could hardly process what they were seeing. Financial markets, already unstable, buckled completely when Beijing dumped $10 trillion of U.S. bonds onto global markets. Within hours, the all-important U.S. Treasury market collapsed, sending shockwaves through the dollar's value and bankrupting countless firms reliant on government finances. Families rushed to pull savings out of banks, where lines stretched for miles. Grocery stores were emptied by panicked mobs as fear turned survivalist. Meanwhile, as the chaos continued, China pressed forward with its ultimate goal, Taiwan. With Pearl Harbor crippled and America's economy in freefall, the island nation's defenses crumbled under China's pressure. Sun Tzu was right, timing was everything. And in the smoky aftermath, one question haunted the world. Had China unleashed an unseen extraterrestrial power, or had humanity built these monsters all along?